2007 PT Cruiser, changing the alternator belt and such. Alternators all the way down there. So you get underneath this thing with a 15mm wrench, put your jack stand up there. I don't know if this is going to work too good here, but if you push on this belt, you'll see, you may be able to see, that pulley will kind of move. So you'll have to take and do that. That'll get slack on that belt. So I'm not sure if you can even see what I'm doing here. But basically, I took the belt off the AC pump, take it off of that, and then your alternator is right there. So probably gonna have to loosen up some bolts, but the belt's squealing a lot. So you can see the thing's probably just loose, but I went ahead and bought another one for like 12 bucks. So we'll change this belt, so you have to get up in there and figure out how to loosen up your bolts on that. It's probably on the top. We'll see. So there's your alternator. And that bolt right there will go through there. I'm gonna have to loosen up some stuff and slide this over. And you can see there's a slot right there. So we'll grab the right wrench here. All right, well, hopefully the phone will stay put. That's a 15mm wrench as well. So I'll try to hook 2 wrenches on it. That managed to get it to move. Now we'll just fight it until we get that nut loose. So you're going to want to loosen this bottom bolt on your alternator to get more leverage. Put another wrench on there. Pull on the end of that wrench. And that's a 15mm up there. There's really not hardly any freaking room in here to move, of course. But, you know, whatever. I figure nobody works on their own cars anymore. Definitely not going to make it easy on you. That don't quite cut it. So anyway, you have to loosen that one up. And then up on top, I also found that right here, there's a tensioner nut, and you loosen that up. So righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So you loosen that bolt there up, and it's like a banjo bolt that goes through here, and then you've got a tensioner that goes through there, and you adjust your belt tension with that nut. But if your bolt on the bottom is tight, your alternator's not going to slide in and let you loosen it up. So see if we can get a good look at that, the way that looks in there. So you can see that it's that nut right there that you'll loosen, and it threads through this banjo bolt, and that adjusts the tension on your alternator. So if you have everything right, and you're taking that bolt out, you're loosening it up, and it'll look like it's unthreading. So let's See if we can zoom in a little bit there and focus. It's that tensioner bolt, so if you go in the right way, that thing will look like it's starting to back out some. So you just sit there, just keep taking that back, and then you go back down here, and I use a 50mm deep set socket to loosen that. Now you can kind of push down, or pull down, push up, and then your alternator will kind of move on you. And then when we get back here, we can take our alternator belt off. And you kind of got to twist it to get it through there. And then you take your alternator belt and you look at it. And you're checking it for cracks and stuff like that. This belt actually looks pretty good. I think it was just loose, but they're so cheap that I'll go ahead and put the other one on it. And the one that I got from the auto parts store, this is just a cheap one here. Master Pro KO40345 or 4K345. 19/16 by 35" OC or 14mm by 890mm OC serpentine belt. And you can see, of course, that it's brand new. It looks about like the other one does. Now I'll put it back on. Your other belt back on there, and your tensioner's got a certain amount of spring in it, unless it's wore out, which is probably getting wore out. That'll be next. And then just compare the two belt tensions. And then when you're done, tighten up that nut there and the one up top, which is there's your tensioner to wrench them. So that bolt right there in the center of the picture, don't forget to tighten them up or it'll just get loose again. And that might just solve your squeaking belt problem, because the AC is not working in this and it squeals when we crank it up, so I think it's just drag off of the alternator. See if it squeals now. Nope, it doesn't squeal. So, problem solved. That took about 15 minutes.